Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are excited to have Aaron Margolis, the founder of OM Sales Coaching and Consulting. Based in Winnipeg, Canada, Aaron brings a wealth of experience as a natural sales leader, honed through roles like his time at ProTelect Systems Ltd., and now as a sales coaching expert helping professionals and teams boost their performance. He's here to share how he's transforming sales success through OM Sales Coaching and Consulting. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in the competitive sales landscape, and his vision for scaling this venture. So let's dive right in. Aaron, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me, Jay. Happy to be here.
An absolute pleasure having you on the show. So let's jump to the beginning of the story here for our listeners, Aaron. What specific problem in the sales landscape really inspired you to start OM Sales Coaching and Consulting?
For me, having been involved in sales as a salesperson, as a sales leader, a sales manager, overseeing sales teams my whole career, what I have seen is regardless of the industry and business that you're in, salespeople have the same issues time and time again. And that is the right mindset, to get into the right mindset, having a sales process, being able to deliver on that sales process, and ultimately dealing with objections, closing deals, and really becoming good at their craft. And my mantra has always tried to be helping salespeople become better at their craft. So through my experience, mostly in the corporate world, I've just taken it now to more of the solopreneur type world. And that's how I've started to work on a daily basis with sales coaching through individuals and training sales teams.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So with that in mind now, Aaron, walk us through how OM Sales Coaching and Consulting's offer has evolved thus far. So from what you're providing to who you're serving, how's that changed to today?
When I started this business about 2.5 years ago.
Mhm.
And you mentioned off the top that I come from Winnipeg, Canada. If anybody has been in Winnipeg, Canada in the middle of January and February, you would know this is probably one of the last places that you'd ever want to come to. It is so cold. So to be in the cold in the corporate world and have to get up in the morning and go and trudge along and do what you have to do in the sales world, I just decided that I thought that there was a better way for me to use my time. I had done it for many years and I wanted to do something else. So my total goal here was to start a business where I could be a contractor, just to independently contract myself out to different companies, primarily in the US, some in Canada, and just offer up my ability to train and facilitate for sales teams. And that grew. That was the original thing, is to just be a contractor, get out of the corporate world and into the world where I could manage my own business. And it evolved into people coming and asking to have individualized sales coaching because they have a specific problem or a specific issue. Then it evolved into, do you want to do fractional sales work, which is becoming very large and it's a very growing industry. And I felt that if I was going to be in front of sales teams and do training, or if I was going to coach someone individually, but I didn't have any skin in the game where I was working in somewhat of a sales endeavor myself, that I could lose touch. And these days, with technology and the shift to AI in sales and all the different elements of sales changing from what it was 5, 10, 15 years ago, that's how I've evolved my business. So now I do all three of those things. And when I started, it was just primarily training sales teams.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible and clear as day that this is where your passion lies. So truly a pleasure having you on the show, Aaron, really walking us through and talking through how your mind works. I would love to know from your perspective, being that you've been in the space for so long now, what's a misconception that you've often heard about the sales coaching industry as a whole, especially around its value to professionals or its scalability as a business? What can you address for us on that front?
I think everybody, when you hear the word salesperson, there's one thing that it conjures up, right? You get this picture of someone descending on you, trying to pressure you into buying something and to waste your time and use all sorts of tactics to get you to do something, to get you to buy something. When reality is that I would say 90 to 95% of all salespeople that I've run across in all the different industries that I've been involved in have the client at heart and they want to do right by the client. They may be in different parts of their career where they're starting, they don't have as much knowledge, they don't have as much confidence in their ability to help their clients out. But the misconception to me is that all salespeople are these evil people trying to sell me something and they're trying to get something off me when I know that the folks that I work with, at least, and I'd say it's more than 90-10 rule. 90% of salespeople want to do right by clients. And you could go through any industry and say almost the same thing. Think of the legal community, the accounting community, anything that's professional, that you have a stigma around you. But the reality is when you get to be face to face and work with those people, they just want to do right by their clients.
Incredible. So, I mean, with that in mind and just how you're approaching the space and thinking about the space and seeing success, I would love to get into the nuts and bolts of OM sales coaching and consulting, especially for our listeners who can end up coming to you for your services. So, walk us through how you're really generating revenue today as far as the core offer goes. I know that you just mentioned you're doing the one-on-one coaching, the fractional sales services. You're also doing the group training. And then how is that structured for your clients when they come into you?
Well, when I started, like I said, I was doing a lot of sales training because that was the first way for me to get my foot in the door
Yeah.
to find companies that needed people like me. As I have grown the business, what I am finding is that more and more individuals are reaching out to ask for personalized sales coaching or some form of training, whether it's I need to have a sales process. I need to understand because my company doesn't do it because my leaders are so busy that
Mhm.
I want to be coached. I want to get better, but I just don't have anybody really around to help me out. So what has been growing for me, and it's really the area that when I first thought of how I was going to do this, I wanted to have what I call coachees or folks who are coming to me to help be coached on a one-to-one basis. That's where my business is growing. If there's anybody out there who is ever looking for that, and it doesn't have to be a long-term thing. It could be just I need help with one thing. I need help managing objections. I need help asking better questions. I need help being a better active listener. All the things that salespeople know that they need to work on, but they don't have a place to go to.
Yeah.
And that's where I hopefully will come in and hopefully continue to grow it in the future.
Absolutely. So the way that my mind is going is obviously I have so many different guests on the show, so many founders and other coaches as well that are in that space that you're in, seeing success. My question for you here, Aaron, is being that your really main focus here is that one-on-one coaching side of things. Once you do hit that point of kind of capacity and fulfillment, what are you looking at as far as scaling, right? Because obviously group coaching would allow you to scale at a higher rate, having more clients come and being able to teach more. How are you approaching that?
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it is in my mind. It's a good question, and I can't say I have a 100% answer for you at this moment. I do know that as I grow this, that the thought of bringing other people on board to help do this, and it doesn't have to be someone who lives down the block or in the same city. It could be virtually. There's a lot of coaching services. I'm not at that point yet. I have capacity where I have the ability to juggle a lot of things in the air, but my passion is going to be probably as we move forward to edge more into that one-on-one coaching and the group coaching, which I love to do. And the other thing is with technology, you can create a practice, a sales coaching practice where there are folks in Europe, there are folks in North America, there are folks in Asia, and just managing and budgeting your time and finding people who could help and support you is a way to scale up. At this point, I'm not there yet, but that would be the way I could see it evolving.
I love that. So with that and where you are right now and the success that you're seeing, Aaron, walk us through a bit of what's working best for you on the acquisition side, bringing new clients in consistently. Is that going to be more along the lines of referrals and word of mouth that you're seeing work well, or ads, organic social media outreach? What does that look like on that front?
Two ways, really. One is social media, so LinkedIn. So I post every day on LinkedIn and I have a very focused posting style, I guess. I try to help people through those little sales issues that they deal with on a daily basis. That's my focus when I post on LinkedIn. I also try to, not try, when I'm doing sales coaching, I ask, is there other people who need this? And invariably, there are. Talking to founders, talking to sales leaders, talking to VPs of sales, all of those folks are referral networks for me. And oftentimes when I'm doing these subcontracted sales trainings for this company in the US, I will get reached out to after the fact for individual sales coaching. So those are the different ways. So a lot, as you say, a lot of it is organic. A lot of it is just being seen on social media and building it that way. I have found that you probably could attest to this too, is the more you post, the more you show your expertise in a respectful and humble way, in my opinion, the more likely you're able to draw attention and help yourself in a business wise sense.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more on that front. And obviously, the same path as the last, but what are you approaching on this front as far as continuing to scale? Obviously, are you starting to think about the idea of doing ads to have more predictability within the leads that you're seeing come in every month, or how are you approaching that mentally?
Yeah, I'm taking it slow, right? I don't want to overshoot myself. Ads, yes, could be an option. I feel though that doing it using social media at this point, getting referrals has managed me so far. I want to make sure that when I bring someone on to coach or to train, that I give the best of myself, right? So that I am properly prepared, that I do my homework, that when we have a one-on-one, you're going to get 100% of me, and there's going to be a plan in place at the end of each session or a call to action for the person. Because at the end of the day, you do right by your clients, and you're going to get those natural referrals. So the idea is I don't need to be the General Motors of sales coaching. I want to find companies where the owners or the leaders of those sales organizations want to have that more personalized individual coaching where we are going to work on the issues that they know that their salespeople have. And then I learn about some of the other issues that they have in our conversations and we work to get them better.
Absolutely. And I love that your approach and how you're thinking about it. And that's why I love the show, right? Because just getting an inside look at how you're moving and processing scale and growth and where your real focuses are, it just really shows how everyone has their own path and have that success. And you can really grow in so many different ways in business. I mean, it's just the beauty of it. I truly appreciate having you on the show so far, Aaron. So, as far as the sales process goes, is this something that you're fully running on your own right now, Aaron? Do you have a sales team or marketing team, or is this just the Aaron show for now?
It's myself and a kind of a part-time member of my family who's helping me out with social media, with coaching advice, with helping me build up skills in areas where I'm not as strong. Those are the types of things that I need to get better at as I become better at coaching. I've done it for so many years, but there are always things you can learn. There are always new technologies that you can help leverage. So, in terms of the human resources, it's one and a half, myself and someone else. But there are so many different ways to leverage technology these days that they almost become another resource for me. And that's how I'm trying to make sure. I want to make sure that I can automate the parts of the business that do not need that human intervention and that
Mhm.
I can focus on working with salespeople.
Incredible. Incredible. With on that same front, and with you essentially being a one-man show here, Aaron, what are you looking at and thinking about right now as a bottleneck to growth and to scale, whether that be those quality lead generations coming in predictably and consistently, or converting those leads into clients, or obviously delivering on the programs with being just on your own on the fulfillment side? What are you thinking about there on the bottleneck front?
As you say, predictability. Some people that I've coached have been working with me for a very long time. And I'm sure any business owner would say they have their great clients who stick around and who build themselves up and they grow as clients. And same here, that I have that as well. In this business, that you do see that coming and going of different folks because they have different reasons. They've been promoted, they've hit the objectives that they want that we've agreed on. So the predictability is certainly one. But again, I don't want to get to a point where there are just so many bodies coming at me that it doesn't allow me to provide good service. And I know that might sound a little bit like he doesn't want to grow. See, I absolutely want to grow, but I want to grow at a pace that is realistic for me and also for the clients that I'm working with, for the salespeople that I'm working with, so that they are seeing value and that they're able to translate what we're talking about to make themselves better, right? That is the end goal. And I've always felt that if you focus on people and if you try to help people and you're not trying to quickly run through and just get the job done without the other person in mind, it's not going to do you very much. So that has helped me with that type of mindset get better at what I do and help the people that I work with.
I absolutely love that. With that in mind, and just a full layout and overview of what we're seeing with OM sales coaching and consulting so far, talk to us about your vision here. Paint us a picture for what you're really laser focused on for the rest of the year for continuing to grow at that steady pace and providing that quality for your clients. What are you locked in on, whether you have specific revenue targets, impact goals? What are you really looking to grow here?
For sure, I have internal impact revenue goals. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say, though, that it's more on the impact side for me. As I have gotten into my own business after doing it in the corporate world, the dealing with salespeople in the corporate world is a little bit different because I represented the corporate side of the business and the salespeople. Obviously, there was that different type of relationship that goes on. Here, because I have a little bit more freedom and leeway, it's about the impact that I can have on salespeople where we can delve a little bit deeper,
Mm.
right? And there's no question that a lot of salespeople come to me and they say, I don't have a sales process because my management just doesn't have time. We're such a busy company, we're growing, or there's different things going on that are restricting my ability to get coached. But I know that I need to build these skills up, which is great. And when you have someone come into you and talk to you that way, you can do work with. The one area that is absolutely imperative that I find with all salespeople is that confidence level and that mindset and knowing that they have to do things that people say are not the fun part of sales. I've got to pick a phone up. I've got to prospect a client. I've got to do all the things that are not client facing, get me ready for meetings. So when I'm not in front of a client, how do I build my abilities and confidence up to do that? So a lot of the impact that I think that I have, I hope that I have, is to help build that confident mindset of the folks that I'm working with. That
Absolutely.
would be my target.
I love it. I love that. And then I just have one more question for you here, Aaron,
Sure.
before our lightning round. And that's going to be as far as the evolution of the sales coaching industry as a whole. What are you picturing that as in the coming years? And what are you really focused on to position OM in the forefront of that evolution?
Yeah, you know what? For sure, what we are seeing, and like many industries, is how do you deal with the AI coach, right?
Yeah.
Because that is here. You have someone that is not a human being, that
Mhm.
is providing quick coaching advice to you, but can you have that complementary balance where there's some of that and some of that human being? And I think that answer is yes, but how is that going to evolve? And in some industries away from sales, it has evolved quite far. In sales, I would say it's more in its infancy,
Mm.
and we need to figure it out as coaches, as trainers, as sales professionals. How do we deal with the whole onslaught of AI? That is going to be, I would say, the number one challenge for us in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. AI is 100% taking over, and that's something that I continuously think about as well. Is where are sales going to be in the next 3 to 5 years with how fast these innovations are happening in AI. It's scary, intriguing. There's a lot of in between there and a lot of gray area because, again, as you mentioned, it really hasn't come that far in the sales space just yet. So definitely interesting to keep an eye on where it's going to end up in the next.
There's a place for it, in my opinion. There's an absolute place for it because salespeople, you as a coach, you can't be there all the time. As a trainer, you are just doing certain events for people. Salespeople need to be helped in the moment sometimes, and they
Mhm.
can't always draw on their leaders to do that. And AI absolutely can fit the bill there, but you're never going to get the same human element to it on the AI side. That's why I believe that there's a way to complement each other.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And then I just have one more question on the
Yeah.
lightning round side, Aaron, for you to wrap us up. And that's going to be, of course, with your experience and your passion and your drive. And again, truly a pleasure having you on the show. What can you leave for our listeners here? A piece of advice for those founders and entrepreneurs, either just starting out in business or in the middle of it and need some good insight.
I think for founders and leaders, what I would say is I've been in your shoes at the leadership side where you have a big team and you have so much to do, so much on your plate, and you're trying to serve the founder of the company, the owner of the company, and you're also trying to support your sales team. And
Yes.
that is a very tough position to be in. So coaching sometimes takes a second seat. There's an ability to find those types of people. If not me, there are other people who do that. And I think that companies need to make that investment. I think it's important, especially if you want to grow your business, and nothing replaces that one-to-one interaction that you can have. From the sales professional side, they have to become, and many do, more adept at taking on the educating of themselves on how selling is in 2025 and going forward, because it is not the same as it was during the pandemic, before the pandemic, 20 years ago. Sales is changing. A lot of it is automated, a lot of it is technology driven. And salespeople need to utilize that in addition to really understanding their clients well and really helping provide value and impact to their clients.
Absolutely incredible on that front. And with that, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode here of Founders Future. Just want to thank you again, Aaron. An absolute pleasure having you come on the show, share with us your incredible journey and your insights. Like I said, clear as day that you're going to continue to do incredible things in this space. So truly a pleasure giving us a bit of inside look on how your mind is working, where you're trying to take it. And again, I know that you're going to do incredible things. So truly a pleasure. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.